Hi, this is Brad. This is Brad from Pro Wrestling Junkies fame. Happy Hanukkah. Today is our special Hanukkah edition of Toilet Side Wrestling Talk. My guest, Levi Shapiro. I wanted to come on first and explain that my audio and video on the following video is rough at best. But I did not want to punish Levi. His video and audio is perfect, sounds like an angel. So I am going to go ahead and let you watch my interview with Levi Shapiro. As again, shalom, happy Hanukkah to you and yours, and let's get on to the interview. This is Brad from Pro Wrestling Junkies, and welcome to the Hanukkah edition of Toilet Side Wrestling Talk. Today's guest Shalom. Today's guest hails from the great state of California and has worked for such promotions as All Pro Wrestling, Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, United Wrestling Network, West Coast Championship Wrestling, and he worked a 205 Live match when he teamed with Devin Dixie against the Singh brothers. He's the current APW Worldwide Internet Champion, as well as a UWN Television Champion. Shared the ring with the likes of Will Hobbs, Jacob Fatu, Shotzi Blackheart, Sabu, Thunder Rosa, and I could go on. So let me introduce today our special guest on this special Hanukkah edition of Toilet Side Wrestling Talk. He's a pizza fan. He's timeless. He's the unorthodox Jew. I give you Levi Shapiro. Levi, how are you?
Doing well. Thank you so much for having me. What a list of accolades, you know, looking back on it, it's very pleasing to myself to hear a lot of that.
Yeah, I mean, literally you had like more like titles and I was like, I'll just say what he's currently the champion. But yeah, you had gold in like a ton of places.
Yeah, I think I've had a pretty successful run as of late. I look back on it pretty fondly, especially kind of going into the new year. I like to revisit my years and previous. So
like when you get a, sometimes when people get nominated for like an Academy Award, they're like, oh, it's not important to me if I win or anything. Is it important to you when you win a championship? Does that validate things in any way?
I think overall, definitely, when I was younger, if I get, I'd say a lesser known title for a lesser known company or something,
sure,
maybe a little bit more locally, it always was very pleasing because, right, when you get into the history of wrestling, it's always, if someone puts a title on you, they feel like you deserve to carry that promotion or that specific weight class or, whatever the title is. And so it's always been nice. But as I've been getting a little deeper into the wrestling business, certain titles definitely mean a lot more to me, Okay. We talked about the APW Internet Championship.
Yeah.
With such a revered history and APW being a home promotion for me, it was a very big deal for me to actually win that title,
And do you celebrate that night that you win it?
Nothing Ric Flair style or anything, but I definitely wore the belt home in my car.
Oh, nice. That's I'm so happy you're so honest about that. Because I always ask the people, like, did you, like, from the ring, how long did it take before you were in front of a mirror, just like you with your belt, Yeah,
it was a big thing because you come back, you take the pictures, and then I get the pictures and I try to send it around and things like that and show friends and family or something,
So where are you? You're in California right now?
Yes.
And what's your address? No, I'm joking. Did you grow up on the West Coast?
I did. I was born and raised in the San Francisco Bay Area. I still live there currently.
Okay.
But I've been doing a lot of traveling up and down California my entire career. Is
that a lot of driving or is there any flying involved?
There's been a little bit of flying, but it's predominantly driving, I'm just kind of getting to the level a little bit more where I could probably afford to get more flights, but especially with COVID restrictions and I'm not doing as much traveling, doing a little bit of the United Wrestling Network stuff, who's been having extra great precautions coming into the era. But driving has been a main thing and the drives are long. being a California wrestler, you learn how to do a 6-hour drive.
And is that like one of the biggest expenses, the travel?
100%. You know, you can get really good expensive gear and stuff like that. But if you're on the East Coast or the Midwest, you know, or the South, 6-hour drives, man, you're going 3 or 4 states. So for California drivers to have, like when I was tagging with Buddy Royal, it would be 4-hour drive just to meet up with him. And then we would drive however much longer we needed to go wherever we were booked.
And was this like regularly, like weekends?
Yeah, you know, I mean, I drive down there on a Friday, and you know, sometimes we'd wrestle that night on the Friday, or we drive a Friday, and I think one time we drove to Lubbock, Texas in a weekend. So it was there and back, and it was just for like 1 or 2 shows.
All right. I'm Jewish. You're Jewish. Are you a practicing Jew?
I'm not, actually, and I kind of use that into my character. My mother is Jewish, right? So I do have the proper blood.
Yes.
We've never practiced. I eat bacon more often than not.
Yeah.
You know, so then when I was training, my character was like, "All right, you're going to be the Jewish guy. That's what your name is." You know.
Perfect.
So come back with a name. Come back with what you do, or else you're going to be like Gordy McGordstein. You know? And I was like, there's no way I can be Gordy McGordstein. But, you know, racial tensions in wrestling is pretty big still. Yeah. And I didn't want to try to dive too deep onto the Jewish aspect, especially because I don't practice. Yeah. So I came up with the whole unorthodox character. I billed myself as a Shabbos goy, which is a non-Jew that does the you know, turns on the electricity and the cook all during Shabbos and stuff. So I kind of played that aspect of it.
Well, that's great. You like have something built in where you can do anything, you know. Did you celebrate Hanukkah when you were a kid?
A little bit. I'd say, you know, we didn't do the basic traditions or everything.
Yeah.
But, you know, we would do Passover. We would cook the food. We would eat it with friends and family. We wouldn't do traditional, you know.
Did you go to high holiday services?
No, never went to synagogues or anything. Okay. Never went to church, you know. I wouldn't say I'm fully an atheist. I believe in a higher power. I don't know exactly what the higher power is.
That's what
but I am. It's there. Something is in the atmosphere.
Yeah. I don't know specifically. Do you remember like a good Hanukkah present you got as a kid?
You know, we didn't really do the whole present Hanukkah thing. We would do like light the menorah, eat potato pancakes and stuff, but we still would have Christmas also.
Oh, and that's where you would.
That's where a lot of the gifts would come and stuff, you know.
Yeah, my dad married a woman who was Christian. Christmas was the greatest holiday for years. I loved it. I mean, I really like get great stuff. But yeah, Hanukkah was like toned down a little bit.
Well, yeah, I kind of wondered when I was going into school too, because a lot of friends were Jewish and stuff, and they would have the bar mitzvahs and and presents. I was like, man, why couldn't I get that stuff?
Totally. I cleaned up at my bar mitzvah. It was great. But then I got out after I was 16. Do people give you crap for being Jewish?
Well, that was the reason why I didn't want to dive into the character heavily, because I felt if I tried, you know, dude, the internet is rough. So people would have done all sorts of things, but nothing more than just like, you know, very lighthearted, you know. Okay. Maybe if I'm trying to go on the road or something and I'm a little more frugal or something. Yeah. Someone's kind of rubbing me, but no, you know, I think people have been pretty respectful overall of everything.
And no like racism or anything.
No, never within the ring either. You know, everyone's. Awesome. I mean, being from the Bay Area, we're very open, we're very diverse and stuff. So I feel a lot of that comes through even in the wrestling scene too.
Are you a Grateful Dead fan?
Shocking, actually. My father is a huge Deadhead. Okay. And followed for years. He plays in his own jam band. Oh wow. He went on tour with Wavy Gravy in '84. So I'm not specifically like a Deadhead, but I do enjoy Grateful Dead music.
Yeah. Oh, nice. So do I. That's awesome. Before we get back to the, you know, when you started and everything. So you've worked with Sabu before?
I did.
Is he intimidating? Like outside the ring?
A little bit, you know. I've seen him 2 or 3 times throughout my career. And I've only wrestled him once. And when I wrestled him, I was like, okay, well, you know, I know Sabu, I know his thing. So I kind of went up and was trying to talk to him a little bit. And he didn't really seem too interested, you know. But I was trying to explain like my character and stuff. I was like, well, I kind of do like a 1980s Mid-Atlantic heel, you know, very Southern style here. And he's like, well, what does that mean? You know?
God!
I'm like, I'm vintage. I try to be very old school with my things. And he was there, and you know the match was fine. But
does he talk to you after the match?
No, I think he went straight to his merch table, and then he even left before I got a chance to say thank you. Or goodbye.
Okay. So that was the last you've seen Sabu.
He was very business.
Okay, going back to little Levi. Were you athletic as a kid, like high school sports?
Definitely. I played, little league baseball. I was actually a pretty competitive bowler.
Oh, really?
When I was younger. So I've done some pretty high level bowling. And I played football for my freshman year.
Okay.
Before I figured out that marching band got to go to Disneyland. So I quit football to join marching band because I've always played instruments as well.
So what instrument, when you got into marching band, did you have a primary instrument that you played?
I did, actually. I played the sousaphone, which was the big tuba that wraps around you and stuff like that.
How does that?
So I've always been a brass player.
Okay. How do you come to that as the first, you know, sometimes maybe someone will pick a cornet or a saxophone. How did you come to that?
In grade school, when, you know, I think 4th grade was when we got introduced to concert band. And I always wanted to play like a sax or clarinet, like a woodwind. And when they got to me, they said, hey, we don't have any more clarinets. How about a trumpet? And I said, sure, you know. And truthfully, I think it was the better because I feel me personally, my personality, brass. I played trumpet, trombone, baritone, tuba, sousaphone. So I played the whole family of brass.
Oh my gosh. Do you still play?
That was just like a progression through my grade school, middle school, and high school.
Did you end up making it to Disneyland?
I did.
Nice.
We played in the parade. We got to go down Main Street while we were in costume and everything. It was awesome. And
Go on.
I just feel that that's always helped me in relation to wrestling because it's given me a lot of show. You know, you're like an entertainer. In
front of tons of people.
Definitely.
Do you still play any of these instruments?
You know, I tried to pick up a trumpet a few years ago. And I could still... Sorry.
No problem.
There we go. Sorry, we're working on a limited budget here.
No worries.
I can start that again. There we go. I tried to pick up a trumpet and I could still... get the sound going, but I can't remember scales or anything.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure my pitch was a little bit off.
Oh. So then when does wrestling come into the picture?
Well, some of my earliest memories have always involved wrestling, you know. I was born in 1990, so one of the first real memories was seeing the Bushwhackers come out to the ring and strut it, you know. And I've just always remembered Sunday mornings watching wrestling on USA Network. And then down the street, I would have a video store.
Okay.
So my parents would go out and they would, you know, enjoy their weekend or something. And they'd come on Friday night and they would go get me a movie, which was usually a wrestling tape, and a video game. And so I played the video game all Friday night and they would go and they'd come back. And then Saturday mornings, before anybody else wakes up, I'd have my Coliseum videotape because they didn't have any WCW or NWA.
Yeah.
And I would watch it on Saturday mornings before everyone else got up. So that really drove it home, you know. And then once I stopped playing football and kind of got into marching band, I really dove deeper into wrestling and really I think WWE 24/7 was a subscription service pre the network, you know.
Yeah.
And they put so much awesome stuff in there. And during high school, I kind of became more of a history buff. So it really translated to wrestling, and then wrestling and wrestling history. And just by the time I was a senior in high school, I was engulfed.
Yeah.
I wanted to do it. I wanted to know everything, and especially being in the San Francisco Bay Area with the Cow Palace, you know, and Pat Patterson, who just recently passed away, was huge influence, and Ray Stevens and X, Y, and Z. You know, it just really blossomed from there.
So at this point, you're a senior in college and high school. What are the plans? Are you planning on start training? Are you planning on going to school?
Yeah.
Work?
You know, my high school didn't have a wrestling team or anything.
Oh, wow.
So I couldn't, I probably would have done that if I had the opportunity.
Okay.
But they didn't. So me and my friends did backyard wrestling. And we did it pretty well, I think. We would average, 100 to 200 people.
Wow.
At our little backyard shows. We had a custom built, ring with thick wooden posts, shitty ropes. Sorry.
No, I don't care. You can, of course. Are you an adult?
And then I am. With a huge bump in the middle from all the mattress covers that we put under there. And so we had a nice little arena, you could say, And I was doing that around senior year of high school, and I had a few people come from the local APW because we booked a really old APW guy that didn't wrestle anymore to wrestle at our backyard show.
Okay.
And they wanted to come watch him, So Marcus Mack, who's the current head booker of APW and the owner, he saw me, he said, "Hey man, you got some talent. I think you should get trained. I think you should do it as soon as you can. Are you 18 yet?" I think I was just turning 18 in a few months. So he said, "Hey, here's a number. Contact Roland Alexander from the All Pro Wrestling Boot Camp. We got to get you in, And so I was really at that point like, oh man, I could do this. I think it's possible. I can get there. But Roland Alexander was so much money for the boot camp. It's like $6,000.
Oh,
a lot of it was down payments and stuff like that. I just didn't have that kind of money.
Yeah.
What
18-year-old has $6,000 and then have money left to eat and stuff like that.
Yeah, especially as a teenager too. My parents weren't going to pay for any of that.
No. Did they want you to continue on with schooling or get a job?
That's always been the thing. I've always heard get your education.
Yeah.
Go to school. Unfortunately, I drove straight into wrestling. If I couldn't do with Roland Alexander and the All Pro Wrestling Boot Camp, I found a school that was a little cheaper. It was in Martinez, California, under the name Devil Mountain Wrestling, because the Devil Mountain was one of the mountains near, it's nicknamed.
Got it.
And that's really where I broke in under Alexis Derevko and Hellfire, who were my trainers at the time. And it was a real old school introduction for me, I feel, because they didn't have a lot of setting.
Did your backyard wrestling prepare you in a lot of ways for your first day of training?
I think so. I fully think so, because even as a backyard wrestler, I tried to have a character, I tried to think smart. I try not to do things out of the normal, and that's always been my way. But going into training, it's like, okay, now I know how to bump. Now I know how to do basic fundamentals and stuff. It was all the stuff I didn't know that was being sprinkled in, and the stuff they can't teach you was the stuff that I already had from the backyard.
Oh, okay. Now, were there other people starting when you started?
Yeah, the whole class.
Oh, okay. So did anyone stop showing up?
I think the whole class.
Really?
I think I'm the only survivor of my class, and I didn't have a huge class. But of me, it was me and one of my friends from the backyard who quit, a few months in. And then there was another 2 or 3 that, wrestled for a little bit, and they all kind of faded off over time. And this is like 10 years ago too.
So at what point it's a 2-part question. When did you have your first match? And did you think you were ready, or did someone else think you were ready, or both?
Interesting. August, I think I actually wrote it down. Yeah, August 2009 was my debut.
Okay.
And I started training in February of that year. So it was a pretty fast progression, Wow. And if I was probably ready, in certain ways, no, and in certain ways, yes.
Okay.
If I look back on the APW boot camp, Roland Alexander would have you for 2 years before you actually made your debut.
Wow.
So that he knew that your fundamentals were there. He knew that you knew how to navigate, and you knew how to do X, Y, and Z. As to where, like I said, I feel like I had a lot more old school approach here at Devil Mountain, because my trainer shouted on me. I was doing the sound. I was the sound guy for everything. And he said, hey, I'm gonna call you in the ring after my match. And I was like, oh, okay, that's weird. I thought he was just doing something to get some heat or something.
Yeah.
And he calls me in the ring. He says, congratulations, kid. You're gonna debut next month, and I hear you've been working hard at the training center, and your first match is gonna be against me next month.
And that was the first you had heard of this?
Boom, right there in the middle of the ring and everything.
Wow.
First I knew. I forgot my kick pads on my debut and everything.
Really? So you had a month before you had that match?
Yeah, it must have 2 weeks to a month.
Did like the excitement wear off and like anxiety take over as you got closer, or was...
No, I've felt confident and stuff, but the anxiety, like comfort was still there, but the anxiety rises like crazy.
Like the night before, I'm sure.
Yeah, and even just tough. Still to this day, before you go through the curtain, the bubbles, the butterflies, you're feeling it because you're performing, what I mean? And it's not as heavy now because there's not much of a crowd on a lot of the things that we do. If we're filming TV or primetime lives, they're live, but there's no crowd. Yeah,
for sure.
So the anxiety level was there, but I always remember local legend El Flaco Loco coming up to me, and he's always been really great. And he's like, listen here, kid, you're going to do great out there. You wouldn't be put in this situation if they didn't think you were ready. Just remember, if you think you're going slow, go even slower. That's such a, and that's kind of breaking a fourth wall on some things.
Yeah, but that's nice to hear. I imagine going into it like, oh, okay.
Totally.
Just
totally.
Like breathe and slow down.
Because it's true, and that's the thing that I feel like I've really encapsulated in my career is that, especially with today's, I'm very old school, timeless. I chose that name for a reason, and things are so quick nowadays when people can really afford to take your time and let it go. Especially with TV wrestling. Like even more with TV wrestling, because you've got camera guys trying to get shots, you've got the director in the booth, you've got yourself, and then you got everything you're trying to relay. So the people at home have to understand what you're doing, because if you go too quick, nothing gets registered.
Yeah, you're not telling a story at that point or anything. Just racing.
The story's already over by the time you what you're doing.
So let me ask you a question. I'm not going to keep you much longer. I apologize.
No, I'm having a great time.
Who forms a stable? Is it like the performers, or is like a promoter?
Well, I think it's either way. It's definitely either way, because the Four Horsemen was not a plan. Like Arn Anderson cut the Four Horsemen promo, and everyone in the back was like, "That's it. There you go."
Yeah, that's right.
But then at the same time, like with the NWO, they needed something to kind of come in and give them a driving force. But even then, I'm sure they didn't want the NWO to get as big as it did and then break off into subsidiaries and stuff like that.
Yeah, totally.
They didn't plan that.
So when you're heavily involved with Buddy Royal, and how did that come about? And like more like, did the promoter put you with him, or did you guys hook up first and say, hey, we want to work together?
Yeah, actually, I was doing a show down in San Luis Obispo, which is where Buddy trained and stuff. And his trainer was booking us, and we were coming in for some stuff. And he's like, hey, Levi, I got this kid. He's cut from the same cloth. You know what I mean? And I think you guys can do some good work. So maybe try something tonight and whatever.
Yeah.
So we tagged and we met, and it was like an 8-man, a 4-on-4.
Sure.
So I had me and my best friend who were going down to this show. And actually, I think the show was in Santa Cruz, actually, to cover my tracks. And, me and my best friend, Perry Von Vicious, we're very old school and everything. And so we're like, okay, well, let's go see. And he's got the trunks that are very old school. He's got the 2-striped socks, and he's got the towel around the neck, everything I was trying to do, And I gave him the test. I said, great, well, where are you built from? And he looks at me and goes, St. Paul, Minnesota, the birthplace of professional wrestling.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, that's it. There we go. And then it was it was like glue, you know, because once we got in the ring, we started going, it was gel, you know what I mean? It meshed so well.
So do you like working like tag matches, you know, as much as singles, or do you have a preference?
I think, you know, I've been on a singles run since the time that Beer Buddy broke up. And I've really enjoyed my singles run as of late. But I felt like I've built a reputation for myself as a tag team competitor. You know, I've been in 2 to 3 pretty reputable tag teams, at least in my area.
Yeah.
And then the Classic Connection, we got a pretty good ground covered. And I love tag team wrestling because it's not loved as much as it used to be, you know? And that was part of the thing we wanted to bring back, was fundamentally sound tag team wrestling, you know?
Yeah.
And this was before the Revival were the Revival. And when we saw them come on WWE television and like we see the guys with the towels and the jackets,
totally, so
literally the same thing. We couldn't be mad at that.
No,
we didn't create the character, you know, we didn't create the gimmick. We took it off of the Brainbusters. We took it off of the Andersons, you know, and stuff like that. So people were contacting us like, oh, these guys stole your stuff. No, it's not like that, man.
No.
You know, if anything, it's great to see that they got to that and WWE put something like that out.
Yeah, an idea that you would, exactly. I've seen you participate in a lot of battle royals. Are those difficult to wrestle?
Never.
No, it's just get in there, and do whatever.
Depends, you know. I think Championship Wrestling from Hollywood does like the red carpet rumble, more like a Royal Rumble kind of vibe.
Yeah.
There's a little bit more, you know, booking and stuff like that into those. So maybe you have to look for certain things that you need to do there in the match, or certain people you want to, you know, touch, or but you know, basic run of the mill stuff. It's like, man, I'm going in there, I'm back raking guys, I'm picking up their armpits, I'm pulling out their armpit hair and stuff like that. I have fun in battle royals, and I feel like sometimes that translates and the crowd sees that and they're like, oh man, you know, like, and I try not to overdo it. I try to still be aggressive and get my character in there. But I mean, I think one time we were doing a battle royal at Big Time Wrestling in Newark, California, and they had Abyss there. And everybody's going wild. We're starting punching and everything. And I give him a shot and I sink the claw in. And I'm just sitting on it for like 2-3 minutes, you know, and we're working it. And he's like, oh gosh, no. And I'm just sitting on it. And everyone's doing all this stuff around us. And we're sitting there and we're just feeling, having some fun with it, you know. And after, he's like, that's it. That's how you get longevity. You know, that's how you do stuff. You know what I mean? You're going to get yourself tired. You're going to do too much. So many punches can only do so much, in my opinion, too. You know what I mean? You're
that's
just
a good
devaluing
point.
a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, at a certain point, the guy who's getting punched doesn't feel it anymore, you know?
Yeah, right? I mean, just the guy's coming up and he starts hitting me in the jaw. Like, dude, calm down, man.
Last question. Are you opposed to death matches?
Doing one or watching them?
Both.
Doing one, I'm not opposed, but there needs to be a number higher than 3, followed by about 4 to 5 zeros.
Couple zeros, okay, that makes sense.
You know, I think it's a great art form, and especially in modern era, you know, there's so many flavors of ice cream. And that is a definite flavor of ice cream, and I love to watch it. I really do. You know, I was a big fan of the early 2000 Combat Zone Wrestling, and the real early IWA Mid-South stuff. And, you know, Terry Funk is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. So just, you know, seeing him be such a cookie cutter NWA champion to such crazy, violent, and then, you know, just his aura. I respect it fully, and I love to watch it. I think it's a little overdone at times now, and I think people don't put the right psychology, and because there is a deathmatch psychology.
Yeah, for sure. Like, so are you desensitized to the violence?
I definitely say so.
Oh, okay.
I try to watch some violent stuff, and not even violent for me, right? I see guys take choke slams to the back, and they take through panes of glass that are light on fire with light tubes, X, Y, and Z, you know. And then I tried to show like my girlfriend something, and it was like Terry Funk and Cactus Jack with like a 2x4 wrapped in barbed wire.
Yeah, yeah.
And he like hit him with it. She's like, oh my gosh, you know.
Does she come?
Like, oh wow.
I don't want to cross any boundaries, but was she a wrestling fan before she met you, your girlfriend?
She was.
Really?
It was actually a thing that kind of brought us together.
Where'd you find this pot of gold?
You know, actually, it's one of my childhood. It's a high school crush of mine, actually, which is really interesting.
So this has been going on since high school, or
we've kind of interwoven on sometimes, you know.
Yeah.
But it was really wrestling that kind of brought us back together, which is really a fun story.
So does she come to your shows when, you know, when audience?
Yeah. She tries, you know, and she watches all my stuff, and I like to get her opinion on stuff too. Because she's not in the business. She doesn't know wrestling fully. And I just go, well, what do you think? What's
your honest?
Yeah.
Do you guys have IWTV?
I do.
Yeah,
I do.
I do. That's right. I'd seen some of your matches, but so she'll sit there and watch that with you. Does she?
Yeah, and she's a big WWE fan, you know. And,
okay.
So Attitude Era is really the time, you know. So she trusts my word on a lot of the stuff, the current product or AEW or X, Y, and Z, you know. And we know people in all those promotions, which is cool because I can be like, man, I'm watching my friend on USA Television, or I'm watching my best friend on TNT. You know, it's really awesome to actually have that. And but it always comes back down to it. She's the crotch chopping, you know, Stone Cold fan, and that's really where her heart lies with a lot of it.
You struck gold.
Yes.
Yeah, seriously. So hon, so it would be like uncommon, like on a Monday night, you might be sitting on a couch with her and you're watching Raw or something.
Give or take.
Or that's not like
I don't watch a lot of the modern stuff as possible. But yeah, there'll be times where we're sitting down, we'll throw the network on, we'll put on a Monday Night Raw from '98 or something, or I'm very chronological. So when people like, I just got into like watching matches, you know, like to study. Yeah, because a lot of the things that I feel like I got my niches from is watching things in episodic form, you know. Okay. Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling 1982 is my stuff. But it's not that I just watch, you know, a Jake the Snake Roberts match from no, it's the opening, it's the whole show, and it's the ending. You know, that's how you watch wrestling.
Now, is that?
So I like to watch Raws, SmackDowns leading into the pay-per-views and stuff like that.
That's so funny. I watch Saturday night's main events every Saturday night, and I just pick up where I left the last one, and I recycle. You know, I go back again and it starts over. Oh shoot! What did I want to ask you? I forget. But can I ask you 5 random non-wrestling related questions before I let you go and have your life? Okay. Have you ever worn a yarmulke specifically on your head to protect from rain?
From rain?
It's pouring, and you put your little yarmulke on. Have you ever been in that situation?
I don't believe I have.
Okay. If your life was on the line, could you recite the story of Hanukkah?
No.
And neither could I. Have you ever played the game Dreidel with some children, but you were drunk?
I don't believe so. That's an interesting question.
All right,
I don't believe so, though. You can definitely drunk with other people, though. Just not with children.
Children. See, that was specific.
Yeah.
So for $100,000, and would you eat for all your meals pre-chewed food for 3 months? And you can eat it with $100,000.
How chewed?
Originally, I'll be honest with you, I imagined like a bird feeding little other bird, like the little baby birds, like chewing it up. But I think in this case, it would have to be at least a dog or a human. You know, chicken McNugget, chew it up, put it in a little dish, and you have to, for 3 months, $100,000.
Do I get to reheat it?
Yeah, oh yeah, totally.
I'd strongly consider it.
Okay, all right. Something to think about. You can email me down the road if you get a definitive answer. Okay, and then lastly, have you had your prostate checked recently?
No, I have not.
All right, you're so lucky. I had a physical a couple weeks ago. I haven't been the same since.
I'm not looking forward to it.
No, it's not fun. It really isn't. I don't want to tell that story. Anyways, thank you so much. Obviously we can see a lot of your matches on IWTV and as well on YouTube. Do you have anything going on as close out 2020?
I just did the final episode of Primetime Live, which is available on demand, in demand, pay-per-view, Dish TV, Direct TV, Fight TV app has it, and they have all the past 12 episodes, which I would strongly recommend checking out.
Oh, great, for sure.
Along with being featured on Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, which is broadcasted in many different markets. They have a Memphis show. I'm actually a co-host of the San Francisco show.
Oh, really?
And they run in LA and stuff like that, all on TV as well on YouTube and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's a good production. I was watching yesterday.
Top notch, man. I'm one of my favorite places to work, and because I'm a TV wrestler. And Dave Marquez is a legend in my head of TV wrestling. So I give major credit to that. But if anybody wants to see what's up with me, feel free to follow me on social media. I'm on Twitter at Levi Shapiro, Instagram at Levi Shapiro. I have a Facebook, but I'm not as active wrestling wise on that, So those are the main ones. I think I have a TikTok too, but I'm just so not on top of that.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a dating app or what. There's so many weird things. All right, well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
If you change your mind or have any more thoughts about the pre-chewed food, obviously email me as soon as possible. But hopefully we can talk again in 2021 as things start getting more normal.
Yeah, 100%. I had a lot of fun. Thanks for having me.
All right, yeah, so did I. So happy Hanukkah. I hope you get some presents, or at least someone acknowledges that it's Hanukkah to you. But stay healthy and we'll talk soon.
Definitely. Shalom.
All right, shalom. Take care.